on satellite, on Freeview, on cable, on radio, on mobile, on the web, and around the world. This is First at 9 on Other Derana 24/7.
Time for restraint. Police used tear gas and water cannons to disperse anti-Saitam protesters. Scam unravels. Lithro chairman Shalila Munasinghe remanded until tomorrow. More summoned. Minister Malik Samarawikrama and Kabir Hashim asked to appear before the Commission of Inquiry on Bonds. New energy. Prime Minister discusses introducing ocean wave energy to Sri Lanka during Finland tour. Making headlines in the sporting world. Turning a corner. Sri Lanka beat Pakistan in the second test to win the series. Bring you news from home and across the world. This is First at 9 on Other Derana 24/7. Good evening, I'm Katrina Chang. Now on to our top story tonight. Police used tear gas and water cannons today to disperse protesters from a demonstration against Saitam. The protest was organised by Anti-Saitam Students Movement. In the meantime, the director of Colombo National Hospital said that 13 individuals who sustained injuries are admitted to the accident ward of the hospital.
The anti-Saitam protest commenced near the Vihara Mahadevi Park by the anti-Saitam students movement at around 2 this afternoon. The police tightened security at Bauddha Lokamavata when the protesters attempted to march towards Kolpeti via Nelumpukuna and Thumulla. PETA magistrate Lanka Jaratna, however, considering the facts produced by the PETA police, issued an order prohibiting protesters from entering state institutes in PETA and Kolpeti, including the presidential secretariat. In the meantime, police took measures to temporarily close the road from Kolpeti when the protesters attempted to march towards Kolpeti through Bambalapitiya. When protesters arrived at Kolpeti Junction, police fired tear gas and water cannons to disperse them. When the protesters did not disperse, police, along with riot police and police special task force, took measures to disperse the protesters.
කරන්න මහත්තයෝ මේ පොලිසියට නිවාඩු කැන්සල් කරන්න ඔය හදිසි නීතිය දාන්න වෙන තත්ත්වයක් එන එක වළක්වන්න බැරි වෙයි.
Chairman of Litrogas Lanka Limited, Shalila Munasinghe, is remanded until tomorrow on the orders of the Colombo Fort Magistrates Court in connection with the illegal transfer of over $1 million from Far Eastern International Bank of Taiwan to a Sri Lankan bank account. Munasinghe was arrested after he surrendered to the Criminal Investigation Department last night.
Taiwan law enforcement authorities launched an investigation into the hacking of its Far Eastern International Bank by means of a computer virus, through which over $60 million were siphoned out to bank accounts in the US, Cambodia and Sri Lanka. $1.1 million of the stolen money was wired into a personal account in a Sri Lankan state bank under the name JC Nammuni on the 3rd of October. Nammuni was arrested by the CID and is remanded until tomorrow. Prior to his arrest, Nammuni had withdrawn 30 million rupees from the account on the 3rd of October. Police investigations revealed that 20 million rupees of the withdrawn money was given to the chairman of Litrogas Lanka Limited, Shalila Munasinghe, on the 4th of October. Munasinghe subsequently surrendered to the CID and was arrested last night, while the bank account in question is under investigation by the CID to locate other suspects who are involved. Representatives of Taiwan's Criminal Investigation Bureau arrived in Sri Lanka and launched investigations into the scam. Meanwhile, the JVP also touched on the issue during a media briefing.
We
question the government as to who proposed Munasinghe as the chairman of the company. When such a massive amount of money was transferred into a Sri Lankan bank, who instructed to release that sum without further inquiry? This individual is the chairman of a party operated by Ravi Karunanayake. I have also seen photographs of him seated at various media briefings during the past presidential election. All this proves that he is closely linked to Ravi. If someone says that a powerful politician was involved in this scam, and if that claim is true, these factors will lead us to conclude that the politician is none other than Ravi.
Meanwhile, releasing a statement, Litrogas Lanka Limited asserted that the company had no connection or knowledge of the transaction that its chairman had been implicated in. The statement further added that as a state-owned entity, the corporation places transparency and ethical corporate behavior in paramount importance.
Ministers Malik Samaravikrama and Kabir Hashim are summoned to appear before the Commission of Inquiry probing the controversial bond issuance tomorrow. Meanwhile, giving evidence before the Commission today, former Governor of Central Bank Arjuna Mahindran said the request made by the Prime Minister to cancel the direct placement method was not the sole reason for its cancellation.
Deputy Solicitor General Milinda Gunathilaka questioned former Governor of the Central Bank Arjuna Mahindran as to why no action was taken against EPF buying bonds in the secondary market instead of buying in the primary market. The former Governor responded, saying he thought other participants may get discouraged since the EPF was making big profits in the market by 2014. Faced with continuous questions, Arjuna Mahindran, however, had to accept that the issue could not be looked into until January 2016 over a lapse on his part. Senior Additional Solicitor General Dapula de Oliveira then took over questioning. He put to the witness that he knew about the meetings held on the 28th and 30th of March 2016, chaired by the former Minister of Finance Ravi Karunanayake, which was also attended by various government officials. In response, the former governor said that he knew absolutely nothing about the meeting and there is no proof of any official of the central bank attending the said meetings. The Senior Additional Solicitor General further questioned whether he came to know that Arjun Aloysius was paying for the apartment which housed Ravi Karunanayake and his family. Mahindran replied that he became aware of it during the proceedings of the Commission. He was questioned further by Senior Additional Solicitor General Dapula de Oliveira on the request made by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, where he allegedly asked for the cancellation of direct placement method. In reply, he said that the Prime Minister's request was not the sole reason for the cancellation of the direct placement method, adding that the direct placement method not generating desired inflows also played a part. The Senior Additional Solicitor General questioned Mahindran whether the Prime Minister asked him to cancel the direct placement method because of complaints by primary dealers, and he looked into what kind of complaints they were. Mahindran replied that they had to make the switch soon because the urgency of the upcoming auction on the 27th of February, and said, quote, "Don't imply that the Prime Minister insisted me to do things," unquote. When the former governor was asked how well he knew the former head of the EPF, Saman Kumara, Mahindran said he met him as a committee member of the Jatika Sevaka Sangamaya, which is the United National Party's main trade union arm. Eventually, Commission member Supreme Court Judge Prasanna Jayawardena asked Mahindran for his views on the resignation of Arjun Aloysius from the post of Director at Perpetual Treasuries Limited following his own appointment as the Governor of the Central Bank. The former Governor of the Central Bank replied, saying he saw it to be unnecessary and wasn't a conflict of interest from his part, provided he kept the company at arm's length.
Iresha De Silva, Directress of Governors Corporate Services Private Limited, which is allegedly owned by MP Namal Rajapaksa, was granted bail by the Colombo High Court today. Now the case is under immense scrutiny at the moment. The court hearing against MP Namal Rajapaksa and 5 others on alleged charges of purchasing shares worth 300 million rupees of Governors Corporate Services Private Limited with money obtained through money laundering activities was held today. The High Court had previously issued arrest warrants for suspects Indika Prabhat Karunajiva and company's directress Iresha De Silva, as they had been evading summons to appear before court. The High Court had also ruled out to carry on with court proceedings in their absence. As a result, the CID had issued a red notice over Directress Iresha De Silva to Interpol. Accordingly, she was arrested in the United Arab Emirates yesterday and was later deported to Sri Lanka. The CID arrested the directress upon her arrival at the Bandaranaike International Airport this morning and was later handed over to the Financial Crimes Investigation Division. Iresha De Silva was then produced before the Colombo High Court. The attorney representing the respondent told the court that his client left for the UAE on the 15th of December 2015 for employment. He pointed out that De Silva was not under any legal constraints or travel bans at the time. The attorney also said that his client took action to present herself in court through a lawyer as soon as the summons were issued against her. He also said that she returned to the country this morning because of the ongoing court proceedings and that she was arrested on arrival by the CID unnecessarily. A request was also made for her to be granted bail. Accordingly, High Court Judge Piyasena Ranasinghe released on a cash bail of 500,000 rupees and surety bail of 5 million rupees. The suspect's foreign travel was also suspended and the case was postponed until the 20th of February.
They say that she was arrested abroad and brought into the country. It wasn't the case. She came all by herself. We know we haven't committed any crimes. This is politically motivated. All of these police officers, ministers and their secretaries were there during our tenure. Nothing has changed since. They say they take legal action. So I challenge them to arrest the person who appointed the chairman of the Litrogas company.
Police arrested parliamentarians Namal Rajapaksa, D.V. Chanaka and Prasanna Ranavira a short while ago in connection with the protest organised by the joint opposition on Friday. Provincial councillors Zupali Kodikara and Sampath Atukorala, as well as attorneys at law Major Ajit Prasanna, are also apprehended. Meanwhile, earlier today, the police detained 6 more suspects in the Hambantota protest. They are accused of unruly behaviour during the protest worked off by the joint opposition opposite the Indian consulate last Friday. 4 who were previously arrested were produced before the Hambantota magistrate last evening and were remanded until the 16th of this month. Meanwhile, a number of views were expressed on the political arena today as well over ASP Tushara Daluwatta assaulting a youth in police custody during the protest.
There is no problem in using police force to intervene in a protest, but we do not in any way support the manner in which the ASP assaulted the youth. Even if it is in Hambantota, Lipton Circus or in Umawe, we are against the behaviour of the government in this instance. During Rajapaksa's regime in 2008-2009, things like this did not take place, but this happened in 2013 and 2014. Therefore, our stance when it comes to this matter is we should put an end to such actions at its inception. We do not need a report from the police. We all saw what happened. What else do we need to prove? They need to arrest the police officer in question and take him to court.
මේ උද්ඝෝෂණය කරන්න එපා කියලා
It was not the police who requested an end to the protest, but it was the court. Law of the country needs to be upheld. Who took these people there? It was Namal Rajpaksha.
නාමල් රාජපක්ෂලා බේවිලා
The police treated protesters like they were terrorists. They did not attack us with tear gas, but with water mixed with toxic substances, and now some of them are suffering from lung and eye problems.
The first flag to commemorate the White Flag Day was pinned on President Maithripala Sirisena today. The White Cane Day falls on the 15th of October and the flag was pinned by the Sri Lanka Council of Visually Handicapped Graduates at the Presidential Secretariat in Colombo. Discussions pertaining to the challenges faced by the visually handicapped community was brought to the attention of the President. An epistle was presented during the occasion as well. The President of the Sri Lanka Council of Visually Handicapped Graduates, Sarath Kumar Madugaswatha, requested the President to assist in funding the construction of an auditorium for the visually handicapped, which amounts to 1.7 million rupees. President Maithripala Sirisena took immediate steps to donate 2 million rupees for the cause. A foreign company expects to launch a project here in Sri Lanka to create ocean wave energy. The CEO of Finnish company AW Energy Limited, which develops the patented wave roller concept and product design, revealed its expectations during a study tour of the premises by visiting Sri Lankan delegation led by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. The Sri Lankan delegation, led by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, participated in a study tour of the AW Energy Limited situated in Helsinki in Finland yesterday. Expressing the expectations for the Ocean Wave Energy project in Sri Lanka, its CEO John Diljalun said the company had already concluded initial research in the surrounding sea areas of the country. The company had developed high-tech equipment for the project and the Sri Lankan delegation observed the operational performance. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe also engaged in an observational tour at the Fortum Waste Solution Corporation in Finland, which focuses on industrial, city and mass public waste management. Top officials of the company and the Premier held discussions on latest technology and trends used in the waste management sector. Minister of Social Affairs and Health Parusho Malishtan in Finland praised Prime Minister's decision to engage in an official tour of the country when they are gearing up to celebrate the country's centenary of independence. The Finnish minister expressed the sentiment during a formal dinner hosted by her. The Prime Minister and the Finnish minister had discussions on matters pertaining to the health sector as well as democracy, human rights and social justice.
You are watching Sri Lanka's #1 news channel, Other Derana 24/7.
Welcome back to the news. Let's now take a look at some of the stories making news across Sri Lanka. The General Secretary of the Bodu Bala Sena, Venerable Garugara Atte Nyanasara Thera, says that the chief prelates should summon the central working committees of all parties in order to arrive at a decision on the new constitution. The Venerable Thera made these remarks at a media briefing in Colombo today. Meanwhile, Rear Admiral Sarath Veerasekara claims that several millions have already been distributed among the members of parliament in order to alter the new constitution in line with preferences of the Tamil diaspora. He expressed these views today at a media briefing convened by the Global Sri Lankan Forum. The chief incumbent of the Mathura Valpula Sri Mangala Temple, Most Venerable Valasgala Punnaji Mayuravansa Thera, passed away this morning at the age of 100. As per the will of the Thera, the funeral was conducted this evening at the General Cemetery in Mathura. 100 gallons of chemical mixed cooking oil was caught in a raid conducted by the Consumer Affairs Authority and the Coconut Development Board in the area of Petta today. As per reports, the shop in Petta mixes chemicals in used cooking oil and resells it to consumers. Pan Asia Bank completed a $33 million funding arrangement with the Global Climate Partnership Fund, an investment fund which provides financing for sustainable energy products. In a stock market filing, Pan Asia Bank said it has already availed $20 million under the investment fund and will be availed the balance $13 million before December 31st this year. The credit line has a tenure of 7 years repayment. The German Federal Environment Ministry, KfW, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Denmark and IFC are among the top investors of the GCPF. Parliamentarian Bandula Gunawardena says the report of the Auditor General reveals that 20% of the 2016 budget is not spent. Addressing a media briefing held in Colombo, he further stated that the joint opposition will take measures to inform the matter to the International Monetary Fund.
Since the year 2017 is yet to finish, the accounts are not completed. The full amount allocated for expenses for the year 2016 is 3,898 billion rupees. Yet, what was spent is 3,106 billion rupees. 792 billion rupees was not spent. 20% or fifth of the budget was not spent. The main issue is that 792 billion rupees, which was budgeted to be spent on people, have been trimmed.
Oil rose to about $56 a barrel today, supported by Saudi Arabian export cuts in November and comments from oil cartel OPEC and trading companies that the market is rebalancing after years of oversupply. An analyst at Commerzbank in Frankfurt stated that prices have been boosted by news that Saudi Arabia is planning to reduce its oil shipments to customers in November. Saudi Arabia has cut November allocations by 560,000 barrels per day. Meanwhile, in the US, some productions remain offline following Hurricane Nate, lending additional support. The Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, Russia and other non-member producers are cutting output by about 1.8 million barrels per day until next March to get rid of a price-sapping supply glut. Sri Lanka stocks were higher after the close today as gains in the information technology, power and energy and banking, financials and insurance sectors led shares higher. At the close in Colombo, the CSE shares rose 0.12%. Let's cross over to Imeshi Fernando from the Colombo Stock Exchange for a detailed report.
Top 5 gainers of the day were Blue Diamonds, Non-Voting, HVA Foods, Blue Diamonds, Ceylon Printers and Lotus Hydropower, while the top 5 losers were Brak Lanka Finance, Lankem Ceylon, Central Investments and Finance, Test Agro Non-Voting and Prime Finance. Today's foreign purchases were 1.7 billion rupees and foreign sales were 1.2 billion rupees.
The Sri Lankan rupee ended weaker today on imported dollar demand amid low supply of the greenback from exporters and banks. The spot rupee ended at 153.43 to 48 cents per dollar, compared with yesterday's close of 153.30 cents to 35 cents. Let's now take a look at how the Sri Lankan rupee traded against other currencies during the day. Bringing you news on a positive note, on Sunday last week, Derana brought to you the inspirational story of little Dulanjali Madhumali, who passed her Grade 5 scholarship examination, overcoming much hardship. Our news story about Madhumali caught the attention of President Maithripala Sirisena. She was called to the President's house this morning.
Dulanjali Madhumali becomes the first student to pass the Grade 5 scholarship examination from the Pahaladiggala Primary School in Galewala during its entire history of 45 years. Dulanjali's mother, after her husband passed away, had to engage in the brickmaking business to single-handedly raise her 2 children amid a dire economic situation. After Derana's report on her educational achievements, despite difficulties she encountered, President Maithripala Sirisena invited her to the President's house this morning. The President had provided her with school equipment required for a year and also offered a scholarship until she completes her higher education. Meanwhile, Derana Daruwo Mapiya Kapakaru Scholarship Program of Manusat Derana also offered a scholarship to Dulanjali in support of her higher education.
I thank Manusat Derana for giving her this scholarship.
I thank Derana. The President asked my daughter to meet with him after you showed the news. I tried so much to give them an education and I'm happy that she got these results. The President gave me many presents. I also thank Minister Sajith Premadasa as he said he will build a house for us to live in. I came to Colombo for the first time. My father died of kidney disease and I hope to become a doctor to help patients like him in need. Thank you, Derana, and I will study hard with all that I have received.
You are watching Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Derana 24/7.
Fast-spreading fires continue to ravage California's wine region, killing at least 10 people, leaving several others injured and missing. At least 14 fires are reportedly burning across 8 counties, with a minimum of 1,500 properties destroyed.
About 20,000 people were evacuated after some of California's worst ever wildfires broke out.
It's pretty awful. But we're all healthy and safe, and we have to just try to be grateful for that. But
I mean, this is like apocalyptic, it seems. This is so out of the norm. I've never seen anything like this in an urban area.
Authorities say high winds, low humidity and the prevailing hot, dry weather accelerated the spread of fires, hindering firefighting efforts.
The winds are very unpredictable. The fire can create its own environment and its own weather pattern, so it varies. Once we get to the point that we can do direct attacks on it, we will do so, but it all depends on how the fire is behaving and what's safe for us to do.
The cause of the fires, which began on Sunday night, is yet unknown.
Kenyan opposition leader Raila Odinga pulled out of October's election rerun. Odinga said his withdrawal would give the Electoral Commission enough time to introduce reforms that will help deliver a more credible election. Kenya's Supreme Court annulled the result of the original August 8th poll, which saw Uhuru Kenyatta declared winner after finding irregularities. But Kenyatta says he's ready to proceed with the new vote as planned.
You are watching Sri Lanka's trusted news brand, Derana 24/7.
Sri Lanka recorded a hard-fought win in the cricketing arena today in the UAE, bouncing back from the doldrum of the past months. Following a thrilling day-night test against Pakistan, whose fortune swayed continually, Sri Lanka clinched the test series 2-0. The series victory promoted Sri Lanka from 7th to 6th in the ICC test rankings.
Sri Lanka's first ever day-night test match saw the Lions score a mammoth 482 runs in their first innings, supporting it with 96 in the second. Pakistan were set a hard chase and were bowled out in their first innings for 262. By yesterday, the fourth day of the match, Pakistan had entered their second innings with a target of 317. They put up 198 for 5 and at the end of the fourth day had 119 more to go.